Hello, Shalom. Welcome to day 78 of the Daily Bread. We'll be reading in Exodus 39, 2 Samuel 8, Psalms 81, Proverbs 16, and the book of Luke 21. We'll be in the scriptures, 2009 version. Follow along. Exodus 39 on page 100. And of the blue and purple and scarlet material they made woven garments to do service in a set apart place. And they made the set apart garments which were for Aaron and as Yahweh had commanded Moshe. And he made the shoulder garment of gold and of blue and purple and scarlet material and fine woven linen. And they beat out sheets of gold and cut it into threads to work it in with the blue and purple and scarlet material and the fine linen, the work of a skilled workman. They made shoulder pieces for it to join it. It was joined at its two edges, and the embroidered band of his shoulder garment that was on it was the same work of gold and blue and purple and scarlet material and of fine linens, as Yahweh had commanded Moshe. And they made the shoham stones set in plated work of gold, engraved as signets, are engraved according to the names of the sons of Israel. And he put them on the shoulders of the garment shoulder, stones of remembrance for the sons of Israel, as Yahweh had commanded Moshe. And he made the breastplate, a work of skilled workmen, like the work of a shoulder garment, of gold, of blue, and of purple, and a scarlet material, and of fine woven linen. It was square. They made the breastplate double, its length a span, its width a span, doubled, and they filled it with 4 rows of stones: a ruby, a row of ruby, a tablet, a row of ruby, topaz, and emerald as the first row, and the second row a turquoise, sapphire, and a diamond, and the third row jacinth, agate, and amaranth, and the fourth row beryl, shoham, and jasper, set in plated gold of work in their settings. And the stones were according to the names of the sons of Israel, 12 according to their names, engraved like a signet, each one with its own name according to the 12 tribes. And they made braided chains of cordage, work for the breastplate at the ends of clean gold. And they made 2 settings of gold and 2 rings of gold, and put 2 rings on the 2 ends of the breastplate. And they put the 2 ends of gold in the 2 rings of the ends of the breastplate, and the 2 ends of the cords they fastened in the 2 settings, and put them on the shoulder pieces of the shoulder garment in front. And they made 2 rings of gold, and put them on the 2 ends of the breastplate on the edge of it, which was on the inward side of the shoulder garment. And they made two gold rings, and put them on the shoulder pieces underneath the shoulder garment on the front of it, close to its seam above the embroidered band of the shoulder garment. And they bound the breastplate by means of its rings to the rings of the shoulder garment with the blue cord, so that it would be above the embroidered band of the shoulder garment, and the breastplate, which would not come loose from the shoulder garment, as Yahweh had commanded Moshe. And as he made the robe of the shoulder garment of woven work, all of blue, and the opening of the robe was in the middle, like the opening of a scaled armor, with woven binding all around the opening, so that it would not tear. And they made on the hem of the robe pomegranates of blue and purple and scarlet material twined. And they made bells of clean gold, and put the bells between the pomegranates on the hem of the robes all around between the pomegranates. A bell and a pomegranate, all around the hem of the robe, for the service of Yahweh, as Yahweh had commanded Moshe. And they made the long shirt of fine linen, the work of a weaver, for Aaron and his sons, and a turban of fine linen, and the turban ornaments of fine linen, and short trousers of fine woven linen, and a girdle of fine woven linens with blue and purple and scarlet material, the work of an embroiderer, as Yahweh had commanded Moshe. And they made the plate of the set apart sign of dedication of clean gold, and wrote on it its inscription, like the engravings of a signet, set apartness to Yahweh. And they put it on a blue cord to fasten it above on the turban, as Yahweh had commanded Moshe. And all the work of the dwelling place of the tent of appointment was completed. And the children of Israel did according to that Yahweh had commanded Moshe, so they did. And they brought the dwelling place to Moshe, and tent, and all its furnishing, its hooks, its boards, its bars, its columns and sockets, and the coverings of ram skin dyed red, and the coverings of fine leather, and the veil for the covering, the ark of the witness with its poles, and the lid of atonement, the table and its utensils, and the showbread, the clean lampstand with its lamps, the lamps to be put in order, and all its utensils, and the oil for light, and the slaughter place of gold, and the anointing gold, and the sweet incense, and the covering of the tent door, the bronze slaughter place, and its bronze grating, its poles, and all utensils, the basin with its stand, the screen of the courtyard, its columns and its sockets, the coverings for the courtyard gate, its cord and its pegs, and all the utensils for the service of the dwelling place, for the tent of appointment. The woven garments to do service in the set-apart place, the set-apart garments for Aaron the priest and his sons, garments to serve as priests, according to all that Yahweh had commanded Moshe. So the children of Israel did all the work. And Moshe looked over all the work, and saw they did as Yahweh had commanded. So they had done, and Moshe blessed them. Moving over to 2 Samuel chapter 8 on page 323. And then after this it came to be that David struck the Philistines and humbled them. And David took the bridle of the mother city, took the bridle out of the mother city, out of the hand of the Philistines. He also struck Moab and measured them off with a line, causing them to lie down on the earth. With 2 lines he measured off those to be put to death, and with 1 complete line those to be kept alive. And the Moabs, became David's servants and brought presents. David also struck Hezekiah, son of Rohab, sovereign of Shahab, as he went to restore his rule at the river Euphrates. And David captured from him 1,700 horsemen and 20,000 foot soldiers. And David destroyed all the chariots, but he left of them 100 chariots. And the Arameans of Damascus came to help Hazael, sovereign of Soab, and David struck 20,000 of the Arameans. Then David put watchposts in Aram of Damascus, and the Arams became David's servants, and brought forth presents. And Yahweh saved David wherever he went. And David took the shields of gold which were on the servants of Hadazer, and brought them to Jerusalem. And from Bethel and from Berlai, cities of Hazael, sovereign, David took very much bronze. And Toi, sovereign of Hamath, heard that David had stricken the army of Hazael. And so Toi sent Joram, his son, to sovereign David to ask peace of him and bless him, because he had fought against Hazael and struck him. For Hazael had battles with Toi. And Joram brought with him objects of silver and gold and objects of bronze. Sovereign David also set these apart to Yahweh, along with the gold, silver and gold that he had set apart from the nations which he had humbled. From Aram and from Moab and from the children of Ammon and from the Philistines and from Amalek and from the spoil of Hazael, son of Rohab, sovereign of Sohab. And David made a name for himself when he returned from striking 18,000 Arameans in the valley of Salt. And he put watchposts in Edom. Throughout all Edom he put watchposts, and all the Edomites became David's servants. And Yahweh saved David wherever he went. And David reigned over all Israel, and David was doing right ruling and righteousness to all his people. And Joab, son of Teriel, was over the army. And Jehoshaphat, son of Elid, was a recorder. And Sahad, son of Habith, and Amalek, son of Ebner, were the priests, and Suri was the scribe, and Benyo, son of Jehoiada, was over both the Kerites and the Peltites, and David's sons were the priests. Moving over to Psalms 81 on page 693. It's an appeal for Israel's resurrection, restoration. Shout for joy to Elohim, our strength. Rise a shout for the Elohim of Jacob. Lift up a song and beat the tambourine, the pleasant lyre, and with the harp. Blow a shofar in the new moon, in the covering for the day of our festival. For this is a law for Israel, and a right ruling of the Elohim of Jacob. He appointed in Jehoshaphat for a witness, and he went through the land of Mizraim. I heard the language that I did not know, he says. I removed his shoulder from the burden. His hands were freed from the baskets. You called in distress, and I rescued you. I answered you in the covering of thunder. I proved you at the waters of Meribah, Salah. Hear, O my people, and let me warn you. O Israel, if you would listen to me, let there be no strange mighty one among you, and do not bow down to a foreign mighty one. I am Yahweh, your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Mizraim. Open your mouth wide and fill it. But my people did not listen to my voice, and Israel would not submit to me. So I gave them over to their own stubborn heart, to walk in their own counsels. If my people had listened to me, Israel will walk in my ways. I would subdue their enemies at once and turn my hand against their adversaries. Those who hate Yahweh would cringe before him, and their time of punishment be forever. He would feed them with the finest of wheat, and with honey from the rock I would satisfy you. Proverbs 16, on page 743. To man belongs the preparations of the heart, but from Yahweh is the answer of the tongue. All the ways of a man are clean in his own eyes, but Yahweh weighs the spirits. Commit your works to Yahweh, and your plans shall be established. Yahweh has made all for his purpose, and also the wrong for the day of evil. Everyone proud in heart is an abomination to Yahweh. Hand to hand he goes unpunished. By loving commitment and truth, crookedness is pardoned. And in the fear of Yahweh, one turns away from evil. When a man's ways please Yahweh, he makes even his enemies be at peace with him. Better is a little with righteousness than a large income with outright ruling. A man's heart plans his way, but Yahweh establishes his steps. An oath is on the lips of the sovereign, and right ruling his mouth trespasses not. A right scale and balance are of Yahweh. All the weights in the bag are his work. It is abomination for sovereigns to commit wrongness, for the throne is established by righteousness. Righteous lips are the delight of sovereigns, and they love him who speaks what is straight. The sovereign's wrath is a messenger of death, but a wise man appeases it. In the light of a sovereign's face is life, and his delight is like a cloud of the latter rain. How much better is it to get wisdom than gold? To get understanding is preferable to silver. The highway of the straight is to turn away from evil. He who guards his life watches over his way. Before destruction comes pride, and before a fall a haughty spirit. Better is to be lowly in spirit with the poor than to divide the spoil with the proud. He who acts wisely concerning the word finds good, and blessed is he who trusts in Yahweh. The wise-hearted is called discerning, and sweetness of lips increases learning. Understanding is the foundation of life to him who has it, but the disciplining of fools is as a folly. The heart of the wise gives discretion to his mouth, and he increases learning to his lips. Pleasant words are like a honeycomb, sweet to the being and healing to the bones. There is a way that seems right to a man, but its end is the way of death. He who labors for himself, for his mouth drives him on. But a man of Belial plots evil, and on his lips is like a burning fire. A perverse man sends forth strife, and a whisperer separates intimate friends. A ruthless man entices his neighbor, and leads him in a way that is not good. Winking with his eyes, the eye to plot perversely, moving his lips, he shall bring about evil. Gray hair is a crown of adoring. It is found in the way of righteousness. He who is patient is better than the mighty, and he who rules over his spirit than he who takes a city. The lot is cast into the lap, but every decision is from Yahweh. From the book of Luke, Eucutus, on page 1013, chapter 21. Looking up, he saw the rich putting their gifts into the treasury, and he saw a certain poor widow putting in 2 mites, Yeshua. And he said, Truly I say to you, that this poor widow has put in more than all. For all these, out of their excess, have put an offering for Elohim. But she, out of her poverty, has put in all that she had to live on. And as some were speaking about the set-apart place that was adorned with goodly stones and gifts, he said, These that you see, the days are coming, in which not one stone shall be left upon one another, that shall not be thrown down. And they asked him, saying, Teacher, but when shall this be? And what is the sign for when it takes place? And he said, See that you are not led astray, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am, and the time is near. Then do not go after them. But when you hear of fightings and unrest, do not be alarmed, for these are to take place first, but the end is not immediately. He said to them, Nation shall rise against nation, and reign against reign, and there shall be a great earthquakes in various places, and scarcity of food, and deadly diseases, and there shall be horrors, and signs from heaven. But before all this, they say, they shall lay their hand on you, and persecute you, delivering you up from the congregations and prisons, being brought before sovereigns and rulers for my name's sake. And it shall turn out to you, for a witness. Therefore, resolve in your hearts not to premeditate on what to answer, for I shall give you a mouth and wisdom, which are all your adversaries shall not be able to refute or resist. And you shall also be betrayed by parents and brothers and relatives and friends, and some of you shall be put to death. And you shall be hated all because of my name. But not a hair of your head shall be lost at all. Possess your lives by your endurance. Let's pause there for a second. Revelations. What was it? $14.12. Here is the endurance of the set-apart ones. Here are those guarding the commands of Elohim and the belief of Yeshua. Take that with what you will. And when you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, then you know its laying waste is near. Then let those in Judea flee to the mountains, and let those who are in the midst of her go out, and let not those who are in the fields enter her, because these are the days of vengeance, to fill all that has been written. And woe to those who are pregnant, and to those who are nursing children in those days. For there shall be great distress in the earth, and wrath upon this people. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trampled under foot by the nations, until the time of the nations are filled. And there shall be signs in the sun and moon and stars, and on the earth anxiety of nations. Pause there for a second. Let's go back to Genesis. Genesis 1, verse 14. And Elohim said, let lights come to be in the expanse of the heavens, to separate the day from the night, and let them be for signs and appointed times, and for their days and years. Take that. Luke 21:25. And there shall be signs in the sun and moon and stars, and on the earth anxiety of nations, and bewilderment at the roaring of the sea and agitation. Men fading from fear with the expectation of what's coming on the earth. For the powers of the heavens shall be shaken, and then they shall see the Son of Adam coming in on a cloud, Dan 7:13, with power and much esteem. And when these matters begin to take place, look up and lift up your heads, because your redemption draws near. And he spoke a parable to them. Look at the fig tree and all the trees. When they have already budded, observing it, you shall know for yourselves that summer is now near. So you also, when you see these matters take place, know that the reign of Elohim is near. Truly I say to you, this generation shall by no means pass away till all shall have taken place. The heaven and the earth shall pass away, but my words shall not by no means pass away. And take heed to yourselves, lest your hearts be weighed down by gluttony and drunkenness and worries about this life. And that day come to you suddenly, and that day come on you suddenly. For it shall come as a snare on all those dwelling on the face of the earth. Watch then at all times, and pray that you have counted worthy to escape all this about to take place, and to stand before the Son of Adam. And he was teaching in a set-apart place by day, but by night he went out and stayed on the mountain of Olives. And early morning, and all the people came to him in a set-apart place to hear him. It's the end of Luke 21. Just something popped in my head. Now if I can just remember what it was. Oh, okay. Luke 21, verse 21 says, let those in Judea flee to the mountains, and let those who are in the midst go out of her, and let those not go up come in the fields. Can't escapes me where I was going with that part. So, shalom. Make it a great day. Read your Bible. Talk to the Father.